Bus fares could be capped at £2 per journey in Gloucestershire. It's a proposal from Transport Secretary Grant Shapps that could be rolled out across England. Graham Vidler, Chief Executive of the Confederation of Passenger Transport, which represents bus companies such as Stagecoach, told us it's an exciting development for the sector.
Operators will want to work with government if they decide to go ahead with this policy and with local authorities in Gloucestershire and elsewhere to make sure that people understand the opportunity and how affordable bus travel can be. Not just under this £2 initiative, but already in many, many cases. So really exciting potential to attract a new generation of passengers to give bus a try.
And would it actually tempt you to maybe ditch the car and do that if that fitted in with your life? Here's just the cost of a few singles across the county. Gloucester to Cheltenham, that's £3.80. Stonehouse to Stroud, £2.80. I know it's not very far, but that's what it is. Cheltenham to Ciren, that on the 51 is £4.40. The 23 from Colford to Lydney takes half an hour, set you back £3.50, while Tewkesbury to Gloucester costs £4.30, so they'd all be £2. Will this fare price cap happen, or is it just a bit of pie in the sky talking for the new government to get their hands on? And if the buses don't arrive or are not reliable, is it going to make any difference whatsoever? With me now is Graham Vidler. Graham is Chief Executive of the Confederation of Passenger Transport. They're the body for bus operators. Just give us an insight in what do you think it would do. Morning to you, Graham. Thanks for joining us on The Breakfast Show.
Morning, Mark.
What do you make of it?
I think it's a really interesting idea, and I believe it can be really attractive to passengers, as you heard on your segment there. And for lots of people, it can give them a reason to try the bus, perhaps for the first time, or perhaps for the first time for some years. And it can also help with the cost of living for some existing passengers, although we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that many people in Gloucestershire are already travelling for the equivalent of £2 per journey or less.
Been tried elsewhere. Cornwall, for example, of course, it's been tried in London. How's it gone down elsewhere, Graham?
So it's very early days in Cornwall. Of course, it's only been in place for a few weeks there. So while there's some early encouraging signs, it's too soon to say whether it will have a lasting impact. And in London, of course, fares are one of a mix of policies which make bus travel much more attractive. It's much harder to use your car in central London, for example, congestion charging and simply the level of traffic. So it would be difficult to say that fares alone are the reason behind passenger levels in London.
Can I just dig into some of the things we've heard here that don't seem to quite add up? I mean, Grant Shapps, who seems to be the boss here, has called for a £260 million subsidy. Well, one, he's the Transport Secretary, so why is he calling for it? Can't he just do it? And secondly, does £260 million subsidy, I know it sounds a lot, but when you think about it, is that enough?
So to take your second question, Mark, first, that 260 million probably would be enough, actually. And that's because so many bus fares are low already, lower than people appreciate. So it doesn't cost perhaps as much as you would think. On your first question, why can't he do it now? Because we're in this slightly odd position where we've got a prime minister and a government that we know is on its way out. And there's a sort of ban on them introducing any new policies until we get the new prime minister on September the 5th. At that stage, I think it's something that the new government will look at as one of their policy priorities, because it can help encourage people back onto the bus and because it can help with cost of living challenges.
And final point to you, Graham, we get a lot of conversations here. We'll hear a comment from Stagecoach in a moment about saying, well, at the moment, we don't have enough drivers. Routes are being sort of taken offline. Sometimes people are waiting 2 hours for a bus that should have turned up. So it's all very well, but you actually have to get the product right, even for £2.
You're absolutely right, Mark. And our first message to the new Prime Minister and the new Transport Secretary, if indeed there is one, is we really need to see the levels of investment in Gloucestershire that we're seeing in many other parts of the country at the moment to make sure that, A, there are enough drivers to get vehicles where they need to go, and B, to make sure that buses have appropriate priority on the county's roads so that people aren't left waiting because of extended journey times.
Good to speak to you, Graham Vidley there, Confederation of Passenger Transport. We asked the Department of Transport to come on, but no one was available. However, they did tell us that they are committed to investing a further £3 billion by 2025 to improve fares, services and infrastructure, whatever that means. A spokesperson for Gloucestershire County Council told us they welcome the plan and are looking forward to getting further details, and added the council remains committed to supporting bus services. We did approach Stagecoach, who told us they didn't want to comment on speculation at this time, while we haven't heard back from Pullums, who of course run a lot of services in the east of the county. So current bus users, yes, up for it, make a difference. I'm also intrigued to know if you're an occasional bus user, would that £2 with everything else that's going on, with the cost of living, with absolutely everything, would that tempt you into a different lifestyle?